Welcome, everyone. This is Thursday, January the 27th edition of the NFL Predictive Playbook presented by Sportsmemo TV. And I'm your host, John Ryan, and I'm going to do my best here to cover you and give you all the analytics possible in a quick hitting fashion for the NFL championship games, pitting the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Cincinnati Bengals and the 49ers traveling down the road to take on the LA Rams at the stadium situated behind me, which is SoFi Stadium. So let's get right to it here. We're going to get right into the nuts and bolts here. Of the remaining teams left in the NFL's version of the Final Four, it clearly, to me at least, in my analytics, illustrates that the NFC has the two best teams of the four. And I know there'd be a lot of debate with that, but that is what my predictive models are saying. And it's also saying that of these four, this is just on paper, and this is not making a bet or a recommendation or even a lean, that according to the models, the Rams are the best of the remaining four teams, then the 49ers, then the Chiefs, then the Bengals. So now what we have here is the betting odds are for the Super Bowl. We have the Rams plus 181. They're the second favorite. The Chiefs are plus 107, which is basically even money. And I'm looking at the Cincinnati Bengals here as a long shot at plus 750 and the 49ers priced at 370. So based on what I just told you with the Rams and the 49ers ranked first and second, the best value bet, and when I say value bet, that is not a predictive measure. What it's telling you is that the best return on investment available, should you be right, is to take the 49ers to win the Super Bowl at plus 370. The worst value is the Kansas City Chiefs because, according to my predictive models, they're the third best remaining team, and you're only getting even money on that. So they would be the worst consideration of the betting lines that are out there. So that's just the surface. That's just if you wanted to pick a winner that has the biggest bang for the buck. What professionals like myself do is that we get those value bets and we play them over and over and over again. So over the next 10 NFL championship games, we're going to have confidence knowing that we're going to come out ahead just based on that one bet. So of the quarterbacks, who's the best one remaining, do you think? Well, it's not that hard to figure out. The Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes leads the other three quarterbacks with a 107 quarterback rating, spanning 10 playoff games in which he is 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. Next in line is the Bengals' Joe Burrow. Now, he's only a 2-game sample size, but on film, he has looked quite impressive, to say the least. His quarterback rating in just 2 games is 101.4, so we have to discount that a little bit, but he took it to another level this past couple of weeks. Ram veteran Matthew Stafford is 2-3 straight up, 3-2 against the spread in his 5 playoff games, compiling a 66.9 quarterback rating. And the worst one of all is Garoppolo, who completes the list and is 4-1 against the spread, compiling a 62 quarterback rating. So what is the history tell us with championship games and possibly who to bet on, or at least get an initial lean here? So since 1980, if you would have correctly predicted the winner of the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship game, irregardless of spread, just look at the two teams, pick the winner. If you would have correctly picked the winner in those 82 conference championship games, your ATS record would have been 70, 11, and 1 for 88% winning bets. So it's a historical fact, and it does account for, I think, in my humble opinion, the reason why I'm 18-5 against the number in 23 Super Bowls. And I've had some luck with that too. I've had some fortuitous endings like we had this past weekend, and the games in the Super Bowl that I'm talking about. You don't have to go very far. Just think of the Atlanta Falcons collapse against the Patriots, and I was on the Patriots. That was just fortuitous. At the end of the day, I ended up being on the right team, but those kind of things you cannot handicap. So the winner of the last 5 seasons here in the championship games is now 10-0. So if you correctly predicted who was going to win, whether it's the Rams or the 49ers, And say this game happened 5 years ago, and you said the Rams, and they actually won the game, then you would have won against the spread as well. And the over has gone 7-3 in these last 5 seasons of championship games. And as you can see, I have a chart that shows the last three: the 2017 season, 18, 19, and 20. So it's the last 4 seasons really of championship games, and you can take a look at that chart and analyze it yourself. So the top 7 championship angles you need to know, and again, just take a look at the graph that's above me right now, or I guess to my side here, one of the sides. So over the past 10 playoff seasons, there have been 20 conference championship games. The underdog has won 9 games outright. Dogs of 4.5 or fewer points, which this targets San Francisco, have compiled a 7-5 straight up and against the spread record, with the over-under sporting an 8-3 and 1 push record. Teams that scored 30 or more points, boy, you would think regression, right? Or do you think that, wow, they're on a roll and they're just going to keep scoring 30? Well, that applies to Kansas City and the Rams this coming Sunday. And if they scored 30 points or more in the divisional round, they go on to post a 14-10 straight up, 13-11 against the spread record, with the over-under a solid money making 16-8 for 68% winning bets. So maybe we should lean over in the 2 games with Kansas City and LA just based on that. Well, let's take a look more here. Favorites that scored 30 or more points, again, Kansas City and LA, have compiled a 9-5 straight up record, 7-7 against the number. But again, a highly profitable 10-4 over-under record. Favorites playing with same season revenge. Here we go. And especially if it's a divisional revenge, meaning that they're playing for the 3rd time of the same season. They've gone 11-8 straight up, 9-9, 1 push against the number, and a rock solid 13-5-1 over-under record. Seems like we're leaning the over in both these games so far. The team with more wins. Just a simple query. The team with more wins, that would be Kansas City and the Rams in this weekend. So they've gone 16-12 straight up, 12-16 against the number, and the over-under is a decent 17-12. And lastly, the road teams off of a road divisional win are 8-15 straight up, 10-13 against the number, 12-10-1 over-under. So not much there, but it's worth doing these queries to find out any type of betting intelligence you can dig out of it. So not all of them are going to be revealing, like saying, well, wow, this is hitting 72%. Sometimes you want to get that 58% angle that is consistent year in and year out. And then lastly here, I wanted to talk about playing under. Now, the beginning of the show, it seemed like everything was going over, and there was a tendency for these games to play over. Well, here's some more information for you, and you can do with it what you want. You're going to play under with road teams against the total in playoff games with the number 6 seed in the playoffs. 26-6 over the last 10 seasons, that's 81%. Over the last 5 seasons, it's gone 14-5. This year, it's already 2-1 with the 6th seed, which is San Francisco. Another angle here, we're going to bet on road underdogs, including pick. And this is San Francisco again, but again, we're talking about just leans here and stuff that I want to present. So a good offensive team scoring 24 or more points per game, coming off a win of 3 or fewer points. That's all you have to do. And it works for the regular season and the playoffs. This one has had very few losing seasons since 1980. So going back that far, this thing has gone 90-45. That's 67% since 1980. And I thought you guys would like that one quite a bit. This record alone this season is 5-2. And granted, only 7 bets, right? But if you have a bunch of these algorithms together, week by week, you grind it out. And you just keep grinding, and all of a sudden you get to the end of the year and it's like, wow. And suddenly you realize the win percentage doesn't mean anything, and what you made in terms of units does mean everything. So if we take that system again and apply it to after week 15, so that would be the last 2 weeks of the regular season up till this season, and then I will tweak that algorithm to only include the last 2 weeks. So including the last 2 weeks of the season and playoffs. 17 and 23 straight up are these dogs. 25, 14 and 1 against the number. Over-unders 23 and 17. And only in the playoffs, 5 and 14 straight up. But 12, 6 and 1 against the number. 12 and 7 for the over-under. So that'll take care of what I'm talking about with the NFC. I'm going to come back with another show for the AFC Championship on Friday morning, and be sure to get that. And please use all these stats. And if there's stats that you would like to see that are not included, I'll do my best to see if I can provide them in an Excel spreadsheet that you can download off of sportsmemo.com at my profile page. One that comes to mind is yards per point. And that's a big one. And if I do tell you about yards per point, you might be able to figure out who the big 5% play is on this Sunday. And I don't want to do that, really. So I want to thank everybody for watching the show. I hope I provided some really good resources here to help your handicapping for these two big games. And, the bottom line is, and as I always say after every show, and I mean it, bet with your head, not over it, ever. And may all the wins be yours. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Friday.